Would the graduands please turn and face the platform? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Spring Convocation 2010. Would you please join with our vocalist, Courtney Willick, in the singing of O Canada, and then please remain standing for the invocation.
I heard a conversation the other day between 3 students who were preparing for this graduation day. The first student said, "I'm graduating magna cum laude." The second said, "Well, I can do better than that. I'm graduating summa cum laude." The third student, not as academically inclined, said, "Well, I'm graduating, thanks be to God." With that in mind, let us pray. Sacred source of all that is good and beautiful and excellent, we ask your presence with us as we affirm the lives and achievements of those whom we have gathered here to honor. As we praise the works that have been so impressively completed, help us to remember those whose very lives depend on the quality of our labor, the generosity of our spirits, and the preservation of our common world. As we sit together in peace and bounty, let us remember those for whom peace and bounty are only a hope or a wish. Be with these graduates, these precious children, our brothers and sisters, our husbands and wives and family members and friends, as they move through these most promising and daunting days of transition. May their journey into the next calling of their lives be blessed with success and creativity and security that only deep connections to other human beings and Earth itself can offer. Help them to focus radically on those truths they hold most deeply, to enact those truths in their work and in their lives, and may we all be given the gift of gratitude as we go from this place. Amen.
Would you please be seated? Again, graduands and distinguished guests, welcome. My name is Lee Pennock. I'm the University Secretary, and I have the honor of introducing to you the members of the colorful platform party that you see before you. Beginning in the front row at my far left and your right, Lawrence Martz, Dean of the College of Graduate Studies and Research. Cecilia Reynolds, Dean of the College of Education. Mary Buer, Dean of the College of Agriculture and Bioresources. Dan Pennock, Associate Dean of the College of Agriculture and Bioresources. Lynn Lamisco, Assistant Dean of the College of Education. Karen Chad, Vice President, Research. Peter McKinnon, our President. Vera Pezer, our Chancellor. Brett Fairbairn, Provost and Vice President Academic. Elder Peter Bishop. Chris Stoichev, President of the University of Saskatchewan Students' Union. The Reverend Andre Lalat, Campus Ministry. Marianne Schneider, President of the Alumni Association. And Russ Eisinger, Registrar and Director of Academic Services and Financial Assistance. And in the second row, Graham Scholes, Associate Dean in the College of Agriculture and Bioresources. And the following members of the University of Saskatchewan Senate: Shirley Haynes, Leanne Abel, Eileen Hartman, Barbara Sanderson, William Gulka, Diane Boyko, Judy Bazowetsky, Laurel Krause, and Helga Falainer. And behind them, and I'd ask them to stand, members of the faculty of the University of Saskatchewan. Would you please join me in expressing to all of these faculty, administration, and members of our governing body our thanks.
Eminent Chancellor, Elder Bishop, distinguished guests, members of the graduating class, ladies and gentlemen. It is traditional each year for the President of the University of Saskatchewan to report to Convocation on the state of the university, and I'm pleased to present my report at this time. But first, let me join my colleague, the University Secretary, Dr. Pennick, in welcoming you to Convocation 2010. This is our university's most important celebration. It is here that we come together and recognize in a very public way the achievements of our graduates and the contributions to their success of their family and friends. The day also marks the admission of our students to the University of Saskatchewan family of graduates worldwide. I can say to you that their record of achievement is an outstanding one, and I am confident that you will uphold and enhance that record in the years to come. I would like as well to extend a very warm welcome to the families of the graduates that are assembled today. We are delighted to have you with us. You have shared the joys and the hardships of your graduate and his or her journey leading to the success that we mark today. We share your pride, and we thank you very much for being here. Let me offer you a brief report on your university. As I thought about a framework for this report, it is not surprising that in the year 2010, the number 10 came to mind. I asked myself, what are the 10 most important things that I would say about the University of Saskatchewan at this time? We are a large and complex organization, and we have many stories to tell. But if you had to pick 10 things only to say about the U of S, what would they be? Let me offer you my list. Number 1, and these are in random order, but number 1 is at the core. We have our financial affairs in order. We know that for any organization, we know that for individuals, groups, institutions of all kinds, that it's fundamentally important to have our financial affairs in order, because if that is not the case, then we are preoccupied with those financial matters, unable to turn our attention to other very important matters. We are careful in our budgeting. We have balanced budgets. We have had for years, and we announced just recently another one. We have our capital budgets in place. We do not operate on the basis of extensive loan arrangements. We pay our bills as we go on. In short, our financial affairs are in order, and that makes possible so many other things. Number 2 in this list of 10, we have a clear picture of our academic priorities. We are careful in our planning at the university. We offer 4-year budgets to our university community and to those who support us. And in our current plan and budget, we have emphasized 3 features of university life. The student experience is tremendously important to us. We want the students of the University of Saskatchewan to feel that their experience at our university is among the very best available. And our commitment in this 4-year period is to emphasize the student experience in so many different ways. We have also restated our continuing commitment to research, scholarly, and artistic work. Universities like the University of Saskatchewan, universities that offer a broad range of professional and graduate programs, as well as the undergraduate programs that we offer, must be respected nationally and internationally for their research work. And we have emphasized that for some time, and we have made considerable progress, as I will document in a moment. We have also said in our priorities that we will work more effectively across the boundaries of our institution. It's a complex institution, and to be able to bring different parts of it together and to talk across the many differences that we have within the institution, differences of discipline, differences of professional orientation, is indeed a challenge. We are working together to cross those boundaries more easily and to work more closely together. Number 3 in my list of 10, and it builds on what I've just said, our research profile is growing and improving. All of the major indices, all of the major charts show that the University of Saskatchewan's research profile has been developing very effectively for the past several years in terms of overall funding, between 3 and 4 times what it was 12 years ago, and in important areas, substantial increases in research funding. To be sure, there are still issues and there are still vulnerabilities, but there is no doubt that the standing and stature of University of Saskatchewan research is growing and improving. Number 4 on my list of 10. One of the largest building programs in our history is underway. And many of you in our community and communities outside Saskatoon would have seen the number of cranes on our campus. A few weeks ago there were 5. Today there are 4. A lot of building going on. It represents a once in a generation or two opportunity to build and to renew infrastructure on our campus. We have taken full advantage of that opportunity. It has been an enormously challenging building program. But the fact is that we are renewing our facilities, we are building new facilities, and we have infrastructure, physical facilities that ranks among the finest in our country. Number 5. Our enrollment numbers are stable and consistent with our plan. No university wants to be taken by surprise, particularly, of course, on the downside with respect to student enrollment. And given the demographics of our province, including the declining number for some years of university-eligible high school students, we have been concerned to ensure that our enrollment remains at least stable, and it is doing that. And we have been concerned, too, to make sure that we are doing the kinds of things that we need to do to increase the number of graduate students at the university. That's a priority for us. It's also a priority for the country because Canada produces fewer graduate students, fewer doctoral and master students than almost all other major OECD first world countries. Our record is simply close to the bottom of that group. So we're determined to do our part, to do our share, to improve on that and to see more graduate students. And our graduate student numbers have grown in the last several years from 8% of our student body to 14%. And our goal is to see that number increase by 2015 to 20% of our student body. Number 6 on my list, halfway through this report, number 6 on my list, we're building residences. The university has not constructed new residence space since the 1970s. We need new residence space. We have a shortage of it, and we have a construction program underway that sees already a 400-bed student residence under construction, not too far from the corner of a college in Cumberland, not on the corner, but close to the R.J.D. Williams building. And we expect in June to bring a proposal to the Board of Governors to construct a new graduate student residence for about 250 residents. So we will be adding, in other words, 650 residence beds in first-rate student accommodation, and that will be available in the case of the undergraduate student residences in 2011. In the case of the graduate student residences, hopefully no further than 1 year later than that. Number 7, Canada's top research park, and it is. The top research park in the country is on our campus. It continues its track record of success, and it's a track record that means a great deal to us, not only at the university, but in our community and province-wide. Just a few facts to illustrate the work that is going on there and the contribution that Innovation Place makes to our community. The number of buildings at Innovation Place, now 21, remarkable period of growth. The square footage, 1.2 million. The number of tenants, in other words, the number of businesses and business offices that are there, 138. The contribution to the Saskatoon economy, $427 million per year. In terms of the number of employees, 3,402. 3,402 people now working at Innovation Place. 37% of them under the age of 35, so it's a young person's workforce. And in terms of their qualifications, 17% have completed technical school, 38% completed undergraduate, and 21% hold master's or PhD level degrees. So this is a thriving, vigorous, forward-looking research park. The contribution to our city and to our province as well as to our university community is tremendous, and we are very proud of it. Number 8. Our theater, music, and athletic programs continue to be the source of pride for our campus, city, and province. We're enormously proud of the various ways in which our students enjoy campus life beyond the classroom, in many cases related to what goes on in the classroom. The theater, the music, one of the wonderful examples of that is before you this afternoon. Another wonderful example, under the direction of Gerald Langner, the Greystone Singers just completed a tour of China, and they were ranked in a major national competition as second among university choirs in the whole country. A tremendous achievement. Tremendous achievement. Gerald Langner, stand up. There he is, the director of the Greystone Singers, Gerald Langner. And of course, in sports, our beloved Huskies continue to do very well across the entire spectrum. But I would like to single out the tremendous work done by the men's basketball team in winning the gold medal, the national championship. And the women's basketball team in winning their first ever medal, a bronze medal in the national championship as well. The work that was done by Coach Greg Jochams and Coach Lisa Tomaitis, the women's team, has been absolutely tremendous. We are enormously proud of their achievements and very proud of all of the students who participate not only in our intercollegiate sports programs, but in the intramural sports programs at the university too. Number 9, we have been selected as a site for one of 19 Canada Excellence Research Chairs. And I want to mention this for a moment because there are just under 100 degree-granting universities and colleges in the country. 13 of those 100 universities participated in the Canada Excellence Research Chairs program. The challenge that was sent to every university was the same. It was identify an area in which you consider yourself to be among the best in the country, which, with the addition of one of these research chairs, would make you one of the best in the world. We identified the area of water quality and water security. What could be more important to us, not only here in Saskatoon and in Saskatchewan, given the wonderful river that is so important to our city, but right across our region, right across our country, across the globe, water is rapidly emerging as the number one or among the top issues that we have to come to grips with. And we will develop on the University of Saskatchewan campus a world-leading center for the research and for public policy development in the area of water quality and water security. That's the mandate that was given to us, and it's a marvelous challenge, and we will do what we need to do to meet it. It follows from this list of 9 that number 10 should be, and indeed it is, that our opportunities are second to none. The University of Saskatchewan, the best of our history, is a marvelous history, and the opportunities that we have available to us are tremendous. Our first president, I like to quote him. He's quoted to me often enough. I like to quote him when he said that the University of Saskatchewan should have an honored place among the best universities. That's what he said. The University of Saskatchewan should have an honored place among the best universities. And I want to conclude this report by saying to you that I pledge to you that we will live up to that noble ambition of the university's first president. Let me return now to this graduation ceremony. The College of Agriculture was one of the original colleges of the University of Saskatchewan. Our founders had the vision to recognize that we had a core mission to provide an excellent education and that the University of Saskatchewan had a vital role in building the province. The positive impact of the College of Agriculture in the development of the province's agricultural industry has been demonstrated in ways too many to mention. Suffice it to say that there is scarcely a major development or advance in agriculture in this province that does not bear the stamp of influence of the College of Agriculture. 4 years ago, the name of the college was changed, and it is now the College of Agriculture and Bioresources. This name change recognizes that the activities associated with the production of food exist in a broader context of life sciences that are essential to a healthy planet. The name change symbolizes the evolution and vitality of a college whose roots in this province are long and strong. The mandate and mission of the college is to advance the responsible use of land, water, and bioresources used to provide products and services that enhance the quality of life. There can be no indifference to this mandate. It is fundamentally important, and I want to congratulate the graduates of the College of Agriculture and Bioresources for your commitment to a mission on which all of our lives depend. May I say to our graduates in education that I am reminded of the importance of the challenges before you in my frequent trips to the cities and towns of this province. I have ongoing talks with teachers, guidance counselors, and students in communities large and small in our province. I know that your role with your students will be, in a word, formative. Reflect upon your own experience. Think about the teachers you have had over the years. Think about the impressions they made on you. I do not know about you, but I can remember virtually every one of my teachers by name from grade 1 to grade 12. I remember the good teachers and the not-so-good teachers. But most of all, I can remember the qualities and the examples of the best of them, and I remain grateful to them for their commitment and for their example. The teachers we experience in our formative early years have a formidable impact on their students and on the health of our society. When I reflect on the many dimensions of university life, at this time of year particularly, the most prominent image that comes to mind is the one before me now. Row upon row of gowned students, awaiting the symbolic transfer of your hoods from across your arms to around your heads and shoulders. And the rest of us on this stage and behind and above you in the audience of this great hall, bearing proud witness to the transfer. The symbolism is rich in meaning. On one side of the ledger are the opportunities that are available by virtue of your newly awarded degrees, by virtue of having received a fine post-secondary education. And take it from me, 40 years after I sat where you now sit, the opportunities are many and wonderful. On the other side of the ledger is the responsibility associated with your success. It's not always explicit, and it's not always acknowledged. But it is always present. And it boils down to this: the responsibility to use your degrees to serve others. But for today, we join you in celebrating your achievements to date. I know that your achievements represent thoughtfulness, determination, struggle, and a fair measure of anxiety. But you are here, and you deserve to be. Warmest congratulations and very best wishes for the future.
In just a few moments, I will formally petition the Chancellor to admit the students who are assembled here to their degrees and certificates and diplomas. Then I will invite you, the graduands, to come forward. As you approach the podium, the Dean or Associate or Assistant Dean of the College will present you by name. When your name is announced, you will cross to the center of the platform to stand facing the Chancellor while your hood is put over your shoulders. Once you've been hooded, you may shake the Chancellor's hand, and the Chancellor will tell you that you have been admitted to the Convocation of the University of Saskatchewan. You'll then continue across the platform to be greeted by the President and to receive your parchment. As you go down the steps, you'll be welcomed as a new member of the University of Saskatchewan Alumni Association by a representative of the association. Eminent Chancellor, Mr. President, members of the University Senate and Board, I present to you the petition of the Council of this University that the students to be named, having fulfilled all the requirements of the bylaws, may, with your permission, be admitted to the degrees and certificates and diplomas to which they are entitled.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the legislature of this province, and with the consent of the Council of this University, I consent to admit you to the degrees and certificates to which you are entitled, and to invest you with all the powers, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto.
Would the graduands in the front row please rise and come to the platform?
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Agriculture and Bioresources, I present to you these scholars from the College of the Agriculture and Bioresources and ask that you will confer on them the diploma in agribusiness. I present to you Trevor Mattis. Evan Irwin Paul Sauer. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the Diploma in Agribusiness. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Agriculture and Bioresources, I present to you this scholar from the College of Agriculture and Bioresources and ask that you will confer on him the Diploma in Agriculture. I present to you Clint Robert Unsworth. Please join me in congratulating the recipient of the Diploma in Agriculture. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Agriculture and Bioresources, I present to you these scholars from the College of Agriculture and Bioresources and ask that you confer on them the Diploma in Agronomy. I present to you Lindsay Starr Barber. With distinction. Amy Beth Egerman with great distinction. Brittany Lynn Serblowski with distinction. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the Diploma in Agronomy. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Agriculture and Bioresources, I present to you the scholar from the College of Agriculture and Bioresources and ask that you will confer on her the Certificate of Proficiency in Indigenous Peoples Resource Management. I present to you Norma Sunchild. Please join me in congratulating the recipient of the Certificate of Proficiency in Indigenous Peoples Resource Management. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Agriculture and Bioresources, I present to you these scholars from the College of Agriculture and Bioresources and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Science in Agribusiness. I present to you Mark Thomas Boriski. Jessica Rose Brodziak. Nadine Jocelyn Campbell. Matthew Leon Carls. Norman Denis de Tellieu. Ori Reed Gabb. Nadine Ashley Gray. Rory Cameron Gregoire. Janelle Montreal with distinction. Christina Amy Nelson. Landon Paul Schindel. Colby Joe Sproat with distinction. Dean John Streisel. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Science in Agribusiness. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Agriculture and Bioresources, I present to you these scholars from the College of Agriculture and Bioresources and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Science in Agriculture. I present to you Brock Daniel Anderson. Pamela Terrell Abe. Shauna Faye Bader. Jennifer Lynn Bentz with great distinction. Scott Raymond Carefoot. Lee Helen Dick. Blaine Darrell Fornwald. Jocelyn Nicole Fournier with distinction. Aaron Robert Laird Hecky with distinction. Lori Dawn Hadubiak. Jordan Graham Hamilton with distinction. Paul Allen Hardis. Nicholas Donald Thomas Hawkins with distinction. Laura Jean James. Orabile Kajasigo. Colin Everett Jensen. Hannah Joy Conshu with great distinction. Heather Rochelle Cron with distinction. Stephanie Ryan Krawchuk with distinction. Megan Maria Crone. Matthew William Cumlin with distinction. Deanna Nicole Legacy. Trung Tan Lei. Jake Russell Legwe. Melissa Nicole Leichner. Jenna Aaron Lessner. Janelle Maria McDonald. Craig Gordon McPhee. Bonnie Lynn McCaig with great distinction in honors in agricultural biology. Joel Allen McEachern. Michael James McLeod. Jenna Elizabeth Niebergall with great distinction. Carly Diane Nordahl. Clara Marissa Olivia with distinction. Megan Jessie Rafa. Natalia Rudnitskaya. Ellen Raquel Sawchuk with distinction. Evan Adam Schaefer. Lyndon Raven Scholler with distinction. Jasmine Jennifer Lumax Schultz. Katie Lynn Sen. Jody Rochelle Suter with great distinction. Cassandra Ann Specht. Kristen Elizabeth Spitsky. Lane Connor Stoll with great distinction. Andrea Christine Stone with great distinction. Naomi Faye Stomberg. Kelsey Dawn Sooty with distinction. Amanda Page Swanson. Megan Lynn Tannehill. Jessica Dawn Taylor. Laurent Alden Track. Eminent Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, we have a bit of a special presentation. One of our students, Brianne Marie Wilson, who is graduating with great distinction, completed all of the requirements for her degree and then had a very unfortunate accident, which has left her hospitalized and unable to join with us today. Her family is here to celebrate her accomplishments, and her sister Devon is going to accept the parchment for her. So, Brianne Marie Wilson with great distinction. Ji Ying Zhao. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Science in Agriculture. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you these scholars from the College of Agriculture and Bioresources and ask that you confer on them the degree of Master of Science. Chelsea Ray Carruthers. Leah Kathleen Fedoric. Brianna Mariella Kelm. Justin Perry Kusler. Elaine Cloud Ungaucha. Aditya Ramachandran. Nicole Josephine Siri. Leanne Judy Walter. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Master of Science in the College of Agriculture and Bioresources.
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Education, I present to you these scholars from the College of Education and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Education. I present to you Carmen Elizabeth Adams with distinction. Marie Elizabeth Adams. Heather Andrea Alsted. Scott Bradley Allen with distinction. Jennifer Nicole Altenberg. Eric Jordan Anderson. Juanita Grace Anderson with great distinction. Mark Andrew Paul Antemnuke. Courtney Lynn Archibald with distinction. Kelsey Page Balderston with distinction. Fallon Rose Marie Baptiste. Jessica Nadine Barr with distinction. Anne Winter Song Batiste with distinction. Ashley Amber Bell. David Brian Berg with great distinction. Britannia Elizabeth Bedard. Mandy Deanna Biliocrelli. Desiree Dawn Rita Bining with distinction. Bailey Blampton with distinction. Teresa Marie Bodner with distinction. Sean Raymond Brandt. Jared Robert Brown, with distinction. Lisa Kathleen Bryden, with distinction. Jennifer Rose Buffalo, with distinction. Curtis Randall Bush. Allison Noel Buxton, with distinction. Tina Ann Cadrine, with distinction. Eric Gordon Campbell, with distinction. Chelsea Morgan Carrick. Michael Paul Chapman, with distinction. Anna Louise Chunowski, with distinction. Michelle Marie Clay. Brianne Ray Collin, with great distinction. Janaea Lynn Coate. Joshua Ryan Kupal, with distinction. Chelsea Therese Cornway, with distinction. Michelle Eugenie Marie Cousin, with distinction. Amber Lee Cumberland. Chelsea Ann Daniels, with distinction. Jonathan Richard DeClute, with distinction. Dustin Chad Dirksen. Amber Jocelyn Mary Dury. Carrie Alberta Deshays, with distinction. Bradley Neil Depker. Christine Maureen Dolman, with distinction. Jessica Jean Dewick, with distinction. Megan Leslie Dunn, with distinction. Michelle Karen Durrell, with distinction. April Justine Alice Dick. Kimberly Joy Dick, with great distinction. Sean Brendan Dick, with distinction. Kaylee Jade Ellis, with distinction. Rosalie Nicole Emond, with distinction. Shane Benjamin Emond, with distinction. Amber Nadine Esperant, with great distinction. April Ann Evanson, with distinction. Kara Christine Fleischhacker, with distinction. Chantel Jossie Fontaine, with distinction. Elsie Megan Forsyth, with distinction. Carlene Danelle Fozenouve, with distinction. Michelle Joan Madeline Francu. Laura Marjorie Freilich, with great distinction. Krista Lynn Marie Gaudette, with distinction. Ashlyn Nola George, with distinction. Nicole Angela Gillis, with distinction. Christine Marie Gintner, with distinction. Jessica Allison Glaceman. Laura Catherine Goodman, with distinction. Jason Joseph Goodwin. Kyle William Graham, with distinction. Kelly Dawn Gray, with distinction. Lindsay Nicole Geenan, with distinction. Jennifer Elaine Gustafson, with distinction. Shandy Ann Hack. Ainsley Claire Haig, with distinction. Allison Jamie Hamilton. Allison Renee Ham. Brianne Tamara Lee Hathaway. Janice Lynn Hahn, with distinction. Alyssa Ann Howluck, with distinction. Stephanie Margaret Higgy, with distinction. Kyle Andrew Hill, with distinction. Teresa Ann Hill, with distinction. Joshua David Hindmarsh, with distinction. Brandy Melissa Hoda, with distinction. Elise Janine Hui, with distinction. Melissa Rochelle Hoffman. Jody Lynn Hunch. Stasia Vaselia Horbay. Ashley Perlin Howitt, with distinction. Ashley Lynn Huber, with distinction. Shauna Janine Inverarity. Leanne Natalie Itterman. Catherine Ann Jacobson, with distinction. Matthew Todd Sullivan Kolisnikov. Jenna Ray Keenlyside. Stephanie Marina Kennedy. Chantel Ashley Dawn Clausen, with distinction. Haley Elise Kolach, with distinction. Mary Louisa Kolach, with distinction. Stephen Cole Kowalchuk. Caitlin Brooke Kozlowski, with distinction. Brittany Ann Lebrec, with distinction. Courtney Marie Laverty, with distinction. Michelle Andrew Seth Liefers. Michelle Leanne Lloyd. Leah Beth Lockwood, with distinction. Tessa Joelle McDonald, with distinction. Hillary Jean McAfee, with distinction. Cindy Madeline McKenzie. Roxanne Ma. Megan Lynn Marcoux with distinction. Stefania Morata. Danielle John Marsh with distinction. Ian Murray McCormick with distinction. Courtney Dawn McLeod with distinction. Maria Lynn McNabb with distinction. Karen Nicole Mealing with distinction. Lisa Michelle Mealing with distinction. Carrie Lynn Mello-Wonko with distinction. Louise Marie Michaelman with distinction. Bonnie Heather Ann Michelson with great distinction. Michael Alexander Noyes Millen. Caitlin Marie Moldenhauer with distinction. Alicia Dawn Musamin. Rosemary Janine Morin. Justin Matthew Morrison with distinction. Megan Dawn Morton. Jeremy William Murphy. Kelsey Dawn Nymore with distinction. Stephanie Ann Nelson. Evan Isaac Nienaber. Kirsten Janelle Osbeck, with distinction. Ian Patrick Osmond, with distinction. Audrey Alma Patagan. Sarah Lane Parker. Kelsey Kim Paluski. Angela Ray Peters, with distinction. Boris Joachim Rack. Rosie Inez Ratt. Catherine Bryn Raven, with distinction. Bobby Jo Colleen Redenkop, with distinction. Janice Catherine Riegert, with distinction. Erin Brianne Marie Riley, with distinction. Dee Dee Lori Roberts. Samantha Ann Roberts, with distinction. Nicole Monique Rochon, with distinction. Dylan Randy Raisler. Derek Lionel Rope. Megan Amanda Rowan, with distinction. Elia Elizabeth Rushka.
Jennifer Dawn Sample, with distinction. Teresa Jane Sawatsky, with distinction. Tamara Marie Schell with distinction. Aria Joanne Schmidt with distinction. Tina Marie Schreiner with distinction. Brittany Martha Kate Zeib with distinction. Veronica Ann Seller. Patricia Virginia Serrano Parker. Cole Robert Shepard with distinction. Sarah Noel Shepard with distinction. Carlin Kendra Shuchuk with distinction. Charnel Shea. Chapin Mark Slayholm. Samantha Lauren Smart with distinction. Kaylee Ann Smith with distinction. Ryan Blake Snitinsky with great distinction. Angela So Kwai Penich. Mark Andrew Sproul with distinction. Alicia Ann Stolarchuk with distinction. Sarah May Stoltz. Joshua Luke Stone with distinction. Blair Kristen Story with distinction. Karen Jennifer Summer with distinction. Nancy Lee Syrian with distinction. Allison June Cernick with distinction. Megan Lynn Tate with distinction. Ashley Dawn Taylor with distinction. Kirsten Amber Taylor with distinction. Marissa Ashley Taylor. Bridget Stephanie Tatro with distinction. Ronald Daniel Toogood with distinction. Stephanie Elizabeth Town with distinction. Lloyd Winston Tulp. Shasta Louise Twite. Laura Ann Alicia Varga with distinction. Michael Stephen Vezzi with distinction. Chelsea Ann Vixco Jewell with distinction. Shelley Lydia Voykin with distinction. Kent Darrell Waker. Terry Ann Wendy Walling with distinction. Sarah Jane Waskowicz. Garrett Benjamin Workamp. Sharon Marie Weeb with distinction. Jeanette Margaret Wilms. Erin Marie Wilson. Ian Nigel Warm. Amy Marie Wyatt with distinction. Crystal Lee Ann Ross. Robin Beverly Ziegler with distinction. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Education, I present to you these scholars from the College of Education and ask that you will confer on them the combined degrees of Bachelor of Education, Bachelor of Music, Music Education. I present to you Cody Dale Appleton with distinction. Stéphanie Marie Bélanger with distinction. Nicole Catherine Bittner with distinction. Amanda Dawn Brochu. Adriana Dawn Dykesman. Sarah Ann Griffith with distinction. Kirsten Liv Hettinga with great distinction. Karen Joyce Zinzin Mack with great distinction. Allison Page Reist with with distinction. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Education, I present to you these scholars from the College of Education and ask that you will confer on them the post-degree certificate in education, special education. I present to you Janelle Andrea Hamp. Christina Michelle Lambert. Patricia Elizabeth McDonald. Teresa Lynn Reed Shea. Christy Dawn Rishinko. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degrees Bachelor of Education, the combined Bachelor of Education, Bachelor of Music, Music Education, and the post-degree certificate in Education, Special Education. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Education, I present to you these scholars from the College of Education and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Master of Education. I present to you Bradley William John Amy. Jason William Benson. Deborah Lynn Badolka. Melanie Dawn Bilocrelli. Michael John Bradford. Jacqueline Ann Bruce. Nancy Nadine Caird. Amy Frances Chambers. Heather Gale Childs. Clarence Philip Clark. Cale Ann Combras. Andrea Gale Constant. Brian William Crawley. Tricia May Demmons. Kenneth Morley Desjardins. Nelson Richard Dordelli Rosales. Ruth Isabel Elliott. Joseph Jean Maurice Fauchon. Sasha Janelle Forsyth. Shelley Sandra Joan Francoux. Carrie Anne Marie Gauthier. Michelle Maria Gulka. Yvonne Cecile Hansen. Tracy Lynn Harty. Scott Ryan Trevor Haru. Corrine Ann Hoffman. Karen Marie Habrinsky. Eric Lorne Hoofnagel. Thomas Michael Jesney. Muriel Marie Kaysen. Randy Lee Kerr. Joanne Heather Labrache. Giselle Aileen Lalonde. Theo Joseph Masich. Dina Annette Poitras. Seema Singh Rathore. Jack Rain. Michelle Joyce Serenko. Alan Jeffrey Senger. Tracy Elizabeth Shepard. Kevin Ashley Smith. Toby Pamela Tamblin. Stephen Thomas Vincent. Nikki Lynn Yee. Jonathan Kirk Yellowlees. Bruce Anthony Lewis Yoki. Valerie Joy Yaki. Brian Lyle Young. Family and friends, please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Master of Education in the College of Education.
Ladies and gentlemen, you'll notice a bit of motion on the platform at the moment. It's the custom at the University of Saskatchewan convocation ceremonies for PhD graduates, once they've been admitted to their degree by the Chancellor, to be greeted by their supervisor and the Dean of the college in which they studied. The supervisor then escorts the new graduate to join the platform party on stage as a symbolic welcome of the new Doctors of Philosophy into our community of scholars. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you these scholars and ask that you confer on them the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Samira Bakshi. Bing Sui. Roberta Lynn Helgeson. Megan Maureen Lee. Wei Kwong Ma. Kim Lauren McLean. Barbara Lee Murray. Leo Joseph Omni. Mohammed Shakri. Vicki Lynn Squires. Supra Yogi. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Eminent Chancellor, in the name of the faculties, I ask you to grant the degrees and certificates in absentia to those students who have met the requirements to graduate but were not able to be present today.
At the request of the faculties, I authorize these degrees and certificates to be granted.
Eminent Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to present awards to two of our outstanding graduates. The first is the Saskatchewan Institute of Agrologists Gold Medal that is awarded to the highest degree student in the college, and this is Jennifer Bentz. Jennifer is an environmental science major, a soil science minor with a cumulative average of 90.85. She started as a Greystone Scholar, was the recipient of the Ag Bio Renewable Entrance Scholarship from the start all the way through her degree, was on the Dean's Honor Roll all through her degree, received the University Undergraduate Scholarship in 2006-7, 7-8, and 8-9, and was the Ernest Wynne Mackenzie Scholarship winner in 2009-10. She is currently pursuing graduate studies in soil science with Dr. Rich Farrell. We ask our award recipients to give us a few words when we tell them that they have received this. And Jennifer said, "It's nice to see that hard work pays off in the end, and I am honored to even be considered for the award. I am from Saskatoon, and I chose the University of Saskatchewan because I heard the College of Agriculture and Bioresources had such a great environmental science program. I was looking for something that was challenging but still hands-on, that was connected with the environment. Like most first years, I didn't know a lot about soil, but after a few soil science classes, I realized my passion. Currently, I've started a master's program in soil science, working on revegetating disturbed sites. I hope to remain in the field of land reclamation and restoration, as I believe we need to balance the economy and environment for a sustainable future. Ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer Bentz. Our second award is for the highest grades in the diploma, and this is the Saskatchewan Institute of Agrology and the Fulton Family Prize. And this is awarded to Amy Egerman with a diploma in agronomy. Amy. Amy has a cumulative average of 87.9. She won the Canadian Wheat Board Diploma Entrance Scholarship. She also received the James Donald Hardin Scholarship in 2009-10, the David Welch Prize for the highest average in our Ag Bioengineering course in 9-10, and was on the Dean's Honor Roll. Amy also gave us a few words. She says, I grew up on a small family farm northwest of Watson, Saskatchewan. It was there that I developed a passion for agriculture. The diversity of jobs in the agriculture industry and the many challenges that it has been presented with in recent years was the reason I chose to study agriculture. I know that there will always be many jobs available in the industry and always new things to learn. I chose to enter the diploma program because I felt it had many courses that would give me the knowledge base needed to enter the agriculture workforce. In the future, I plan to continue learning about agriculture and want to work with farmers to help them make educated decisions on the agronomics of their farm. I like to work with farmers because they all have different ideas about ways to improve the agronomics of their farms, and while they may learn many things from me, I know I will learn many things from them. I look forward to seeing the changes that occur in the agriculture industry throughout my career, and I hope that many of them will be for the benefit of the farmers. Ladies and gentlemen, Amy Egerman.
The Spring 2010 winner of the Most Distinguished Graduate in Education and the Saskatchewan Teachers Federation Prize is Dana McCarthy, who graduates today with great distinction. Unfortunately, she could not be with us today, but I do want to say a few words because she has received this award. Dana began her education in her hometown of Saskatoon, where she graduated from Bedford Road Collegiate Institute. While in high school, Dana was involved in a variety of activities, including drama, productions, and choir. After high school, Dana completed an honors degree in physics and advanced certificate in biology from the University of Saskatchewan. During these years, Dana also found time to volunteer as a minor league softball coach. While studying in the College of Education, Dana received recognition for her commitment to teaching. Her mentor teacher wrote, Dana was always a professional when it came to every aspect of her teaching. Dana will make a strong, competent teacher who will be both an asset both in and outside of the classroom. Dana is presently working as a substitute teacher, and she volunteers as a tutor, working with the International Women of Saskatoon organization. Her goal is to find a position teaching high school science in or near Saskatoon. Please join me in congratulating Dana on her award, even though she can't be here.
Chancellor, Mr. President, platform participants, graduates, and guests. As President of the University of Saskatchewan Alumni Association, it is my pleasure to recognize the class of 2010 as graduates and welcome each of you to the University of Saskatchewan Alumni Association. I hope your time at the University of Saskatchewan was a memorable one, be it the friends you have met, the classes you've taken, or a university function. Right now, you may not be fully aware or understand what it means to be an alumnus. But today, as you receive your degree, your relationship with the university changes forever. You are now a member of the University of Saskatchewan Alumni Association. You have joined our alumni family, a family with storied history of excellence, a family of well-accomplished and distinguished alumni. Your family includes a Canadian Prime Minister, Nobel Prize winners, award-winning authors and artists, groundbreaking researchers, successful business executives and entrepreneurs, accomplished athletes, and many, many more. Receive your degree with great pride in what you have accomplished and in the company you join. I also encourage you to look forward to what you will accomplish. Be it open to the endless and exciting opportunities available to you. Build upon the connections you've created while a student and strive for even greater things. Continue to build the strong foundation that has shaped the U of S into the institution it is today. As you embark upon new endeavors, remember your alumni family is here to support you. Stay connected with the university by informing the Alumni Association of where you are and what you have done. The Alumni Association can provide a vital link between you and your university. Whether it is providing support as you build your career, giving you access to university services and facilities, or helping you sustain lifelong relationships. We are all here to celebrate your success. For each of you, how you define success may be different. It may be professional or personal. Whatever your success is, I encourage you to stay in touch with the Alumni Association so we, as members, can continue to celebrate your success together. In closing, again, congratulations to the class of 2010 from the Colleges of Agriculture and Bioresources and the College of Education. Welcome to the alumni family. Welcome to the University of Saskatchewan Alumni Association.
This brings our convocation ceremony to a close, but before we do, I would like to thank a number of people. First, Glenn Gillis and the University Wind Orchestra. Our vocalist, Courtney Willick. Elder Peter Bishop. Our signer, Tanya Commission. And Danielle Cloutier, Convocation Coordinator, and all the members of her team who make these ceremonies a success. I would remind graduates and their families of the meeting places which follow. Agriculture and Bioresources, please meet in the Grand Circle lobby. Education Center main lobby. Finally, to the graduates, enjoy today and your success. You have acquired an important key to your future, but your degree is not your only acquisition today. It combines with other important but less tangible benefits which have shaped you and will contribute to who you are in the future. For the rest of your life, you will retain a treasure of memories of your time at the University of Saskatchewan, of faculty who made a difference, of your fellow students, and experiences, some enriching, and if a few were slightly dubious, you were probably still learning from them as well. You are an alumnus of a proud and successful university. Take that legacy with you wherever you go. The University of Saskatchewan is the bond that unites us all, because we have all been touched in one way or another by our experiences as part of this university. Those who came before us helped to establish this bond. Now I ask you to help ensure that it remains strong in the future. Would you now rise and join in the singing of God Save the Queen?